All right. I think I'm having trouble shifting the displays, but I'll do that in a second. Anyway, what I wanted to start this session with is a little bit, a word of advice. I rarely try to advise people because um, we each have a different experience of the same world. Where I am today, where you are today, where you are today is a sum total of your life experiences. The things you've gone through, the things you've had to deal with, made you who you are right now. If I went through the same things you went through, I'd probably maybe not be here. If somebody else went through the same things you went through, they'll not be here. The same applies to you. If I say, okay, whatever I've gone through, let me put you in the same situation. Maybe you would have come out better. Maybe you would have come out worse. So we each have a different experience of this world, and it's very important to know that, so that you don't put somebody else's reality on your reality, or you don't try to live somebody else's reality because you're not them. As you learn tech, you're going to come across a lot of concepts you don't understand. Some of them there is no easier way to explain. I can try and give you analogy, but there's just no easier way to explain. I could only just do the best I can to help you, put the pieces together. But the whole picture, to get the whole picture, will require some personal effort. And if there's one thing I want you to develop, is obsession. I want you to be obsessed to making it work. I want you to be obsessed to making that script work. If you write a Python function and it doesn't work, I want you to be obsessed and trying to make it work. Make it work. Don't close your laptop. Don't leave that station. If it's not printing Eric, or if it's not printing name, make it print name. Don't step out of that station until it does. All the greatest there is, both the known and the less known, because there are quite a lot of people who have done amazing things, but they are less known. They only had one thing in common, and that is obsession. They were obsessed. If it's reading a tutorial in the matatu on your way to work or from work, do it. If it's watching a Python function tutorials at lunchtime at work, do it. Even if uko mjengo and you're trying to, I'm speaking Swahili. Where is Jinub? Jinub, I see you. I'm sorry, I'll stick to English. So, if it's attempting the exercises that we are doing here, do it. If it's writing code on your phone, heck, do it. This course is also known the 8 hours challenge. So at the end of every week, do an inventory of what you've done. Ask yourself, how many hours have I dedicated to learning this week? If it's less than 8 hours, and it helps to do this inventory on a Saturday, so that you ask yourself, okay, my intention was to get to 8 hours this week. I've only done 4 hours. Spend the entire Sunday, recovering the 4 hours that is left, or the 5 hours that is left. Whatever we cover in class, for example, in this course, we are going to talk about GitHub. I want you to watch 3 extra tutorials from other creators and read 3 articles, on the same topic. If it's GitHub, go watch three tutorials on GitHub and 3 articles on GitHub. That is how you understand these things. But if you just watch what I teach here and try to do the exercises and get stuck and leave it at that, that's not gonna do anything. So just make it a habit. Whatever you get introduced into, watch 3 more tutorials, video tutorials, and read 3 more articles. If you adopt this mentality, trust me, by the end of the remaining 14 weeks, you'll be a master at this. These things will be coming to you easy. Anyway, let me just try to. All right, we want you to be as as small as that. Let's put this up here. Alright, I think that should be okay. And then we want to share this screen. So let me put my script out of the way. So I came across this post, and I got so pissed. I don't know why I got so pissed, but I got so pissed with the. Okay, I know why I got so pissed. It's because, and I keep saying this, the current AI, advancements in AI and AI tools that we have right now, you cannot vibe code your way to a fully functional e-commerce site. Where is that? You see this e-learning system and booking site and payment integrated apps. You cannot vibe code these things. This person is lying to you. You cannot vibe code these things. Building an application that is used by thousands of people requires expertise in a lot of moving bits and pieces. For example, if you're building something that requires M-Pesa Daraja integration, when you go to a supermarket, you buy things and then they ask you for your number and then you see something pop up on your phone. You cannot vibe code that thing. That thing is a nightmare. And to vibe code it, you need to understand how the M-Pesa Daraja API works. You need to get the credentials from Daraja API, integrate them into your app. So sure, you can vibe code a simple website, and we look at that as we learn. You can vibe code a simple website, a simple platform to use at home with your family. But something that you want to put in front of thousands of people, you simply cannot vibe code it. You need to understand cybersecurity. You need to understand networking. You need to understand cloud computing. You need to understand how to fine-tune your infrastructure so that it handles a lot of traffic. All these things you cannot vibe code. You need to, do trial and error until you get to whatever works for you. So whenever you see such a post, and a good example I like to give is, let me just clear this and hide this. Trying to hide. Okay. A good example I like to use is applications like these ones, or this one right here. I use this application to edit videos, okay? And I use this application to do photo manipulation, and I also do this to do my graphic design work. These applications cost a lot of money. Like, for example, this one costs about 12,000 a month. This one costs, I think, around the same amount of money. This one costs, I think, around 5,000 a month. If it was easy to vibe code software, like people say it is, don't you think somebody would have created a clone of this software right here and just sold it at a cheaper price? There is already market, of course. It's just that the company that currently does it is a little bit, has a monopoly. So there are a lot of software that if it were easy to just give an AI agent a command, hey, clone this software, I would have even personally done it a very long time ago. Software like Microsoft Word and whatnot. So sure, vibe coding is fun. You can create a simple application, show it to your family. You can create a simple house management platform. But if you think about 1,000 users, 10,000 users, forget about vibe coding. Yeah, you can vibe code, but if you have some basic knowledge of, how things work, it puts you at an advantage. So let's read some comments here before we get down into business. Lil Sam, I've never looked at Okoa Mwananchi website. Let's look at it right now and see what it's built with. I didn't even know when it went down. Okoa Mwananchi, am I typing that correctly? What is the name? I've forgotten. Okoa Mwananchi or what? I've forgotten the name. Oh, it said the way it's in. If I bite my tongue, I'll come for you. uh, Desmond, glad to see you. I see you're here. Sam Delta, glad to see you here, sir. Nganga FX. Yeah, Elvis W. That guy is, man. Jini Bukong, I saw your country. You're in South Sudan, right? I think I saw your comment way before on Discord, an introduction or something. Yeah, building websites with WordPress is, it's okay. It's easy for you to just set the website up and running. But now get to when you want to integrate payment platforms, you want to integrate user accounts. That is where the nightmare is. Oh, Linda Mwananchi. I'm typing here Oko Mwananchi. What is that? Linda Mwananchi. Linda Mwananchi. First and foremost, you see, they didn't even bother to put here, like, a site icon. You see, when you visit something like, what am I doing? Not that one. Something like Dribble. Let's try it. You see this icon here? It means that there was effort that was put into developing such. I mean, I would expect this from a personal website, because I think even mine is just, it's ugly. So I would expect this from a personal website. But for a website built, by Europeans and whatnot, yeah. I like the landing page. It delivers the message right on. I wonder what this is. Yeah, this looks like a vibe coded website, but it's okay. I mean, it's working. So probably who developed it has some experience in tech. Yeah, I think religion and politics should be two different things. Don't because somebody used religion to brainwash us into a position he knows nothing about. I'm not political, guys. I'm just saying. So let's look at the tools used. They used WordPress. Oh my God. Why? Why would you use... I mean, in all fairness, WordPress is awesome. And I think that is where the issue is. That is what caused the website to crash, using WordPress. So probably they used a vulnerable version of WordPress, and somebody used that vulnerability to exploit the system. I'm pretty sure that is what happened. But I mean, even Stanford uses WordPress. Stanford University. Let's see. Yeah, I think Stanford uses WordPress. Yes, they use WordPress. Okay, but this is not your everyday WordPress. This is like a highly customized version of WordPress. Like I think they even have their own plugins and whatnot. If you guys know what Stanford is, so WordPress is okay, but man, I would wish we use, we go a little bit Nganga FX, can somebody please share the Discord link with Nganga? I think that's okay. I think I have it open here. I was just trying to be lazy. Let's see, copy link. Nganga FX, I've pasted the link to Discord in the chats. Oh, both are politics, religion and politics. Is that what you mean? Gate info. Yeah, the travel agent. Soma Stories is way better than this. And I built it on my own. In 4 months, the platform was up and running. And as a matter of fact, if you want to know what powers Soma Stories, this is why you can't vibe code your stuff. On Soma Stories, if you want to pay with M-Pesa, we use the Daraja API to initiate the M-Pesa SDK. If you want to pay with Visa card, we use Paystack. Okay, so those are 2 services already. If then we have the App Store, where I'm trying to publish it on App Store. By the way, Apple is giving me headache trying to publish the app. Let me see where we are at. So the Android version is of course working, but the Apple version is, man, they're just crazy. And then we have one signal for push notification. So when a writer writes a story, the followers will get a push notification. So that is what one signal does. And then I have two servers. One, I have it running on DigitalOcean, and another one I have it running on AWS. AWS is not here. And then I have AdSense for analytics, and also what is it called? Firebase for analytics. And then I have Google Console for signing in with Google. And then I have what a cPanel to manage my domains. Okay, so you see all these services, you cannot vibe code all these things if you do not have knowledge of how these things work. You cannot. So that 2,000 that you're going to pay that person to, lie to you, send that money to me as a donation. Okay, do send that money as a donation. So yeah, you see now how Apple is making my life difficult. I have the app ready, but this has to be, I think, review number 3, and I have to resolve that right after this class. Anyway, enough politics. Let's jump into let's get down into business. So this course is going to be heavy. This session is going to be heavy. We have companies like Facebook. We have companies like Google. And if you look at the number of engineers working for these companies, it's in the tens of thousands. Yeah, tens of thousands. And you might ask yourself, Facebook is just one. How can 10,000 engineers contribute to the same application? I mean, on Monday we did build a website, and as you saw, I was just building it on my end. There was no collaborator. But what if I want somebody else to collaborate with me on that website? How do I do it? And that is what you're going to cover in this class. So it's going to be a heavy class. I need you to have your notebook ready. Write down some notes. If I say something that is confusing, write it down. I started this session with some, in Kenya we say story ajaba, because I wanted enough people to join in so that nobody says I'm lost. We do not. If you are starting with me right now, I don't want to hear I'm lost, because I want you to take down some notes. If I say something that is a little bit confusing, I want you to interrupt me in the chats right away, and I will clarify. If I can't reach the chats, heck, give me a call. Okay, give me a call. We'll start very simple, very easy, very simple. So this was my from graphic design course. By the way, I'm preparing a graphic design course, and these are the notes for that. So let's I don't know how to create a new document. Oh my goodness. So in the previous class we looked at Git. We looked at installing Git and running some basic commands in Git, like for example git init, git commit, git commit, git add. We will look at the same commands as we look at GitHub as well, but that is just the prerequisite to this class. Sam Delta, we had a class on Monday, but it was an office hours class. It was not a mandatory class. We just tried to build something from scratch. So in this tutorial, what we want to do is we want to learn. Now we have all the changes locally on our computer. How can we take all those changes and save them in the cloud? If you try to save your photos on Google Drive, you took the photos, of course, they were locally on your phone, and then you uploaded the photos to to Google Cloud. So how can we do that? So from the onset, this is what you're working with. Okay, so you do have your laptop here. If I can just draw a laptop, has a tiny screen there and whatnot. So you have your project here. Okay, this is a website. For example, this is a website you've built. It's locally on your laptop. If you want your friend to contribute to the same project, you can take the project, save it on a flash drive, save it on This is what I'm calling a flash drive. You can take the project, save it on a USB drive or a flash drive, and then give it to your friend. And then they'll go make the changes, and then they save it on the flash drive, and then they give you. Alternatively, you can send them the project on WhatsApp. Say, hey, here's the project. I'm done with the front end. You handle the back end. But, engineers don't work like that. It's a little bit very messy. Not a little bit. It's very messy. So we do have what you call Git and GitHub, and we learned about Git in the previous lesson. So what Git does, it just creates versions of your code. So it will do version 1, version 2. Of course, you can give it whatever name you want, version 3, but all these will exist locally on your laptop. So what we want to do is we want to take whatever changes you've made and push it to the cloud. And when I say to the cloud, I mean to GitHub. So GitHub is just a special website that helps you store your code. Okay, GitHub also helps you see other people's code. So if I go to GitHub right now, so this is how my GitHub looks like. Of course, I have projects I've worked on here. I can see projects from other users. So GitHub is like social media, but for software engineers. So I can see projects. So if I want to see, like for example, Linux operating system, they do have a project here. You can have a look at it. So you can just search Linux and click the very first link here. And as you can see, this is the entire code that powers the Linux. It's not an operating system. Okay, Linux. Linux kernel. There are a few other resources you can get here that are, open source. So let's look for example, which other software is open source? So let's say, for example, Django, which is just a Python framework. As you can see, the source code is right here. Okay, so if you scroll down to contributors, as you can see, it has 2,757 contributors. These are people writing code for this project. So we want to see how to set our project up so that other people can contribute. And for us to do that, number one, we need to create a GitHub account. Okay, because GitHub itself is just a normal website. Okay, for it to know about your code, you have to, number one, create an account, and then number two, tell your laptop that, hey, I have an account here on GitHub and I want you to push my changes to that account to a specific repository. Now that tell your computer, we use another concept I'm going to introduce called SSH. Okay, so in the technology world, computers talk to each other all the time. When you're sending a message to your friend, of course, personally, you'll say I'm sending a message, but in the in the technical world, your phone is talking to your friend's phone. Okay, of course, it jumps over like 1,000 internet routers, but your phone is talking to your friend's phone. So the most common way this happens is what we call TCP. Some of you have heard this TCP thing somewhere else. This is how computers talk to each other, the most common way. Another way computers can talk to each other is through SSH. Okay, another way computers can talk to each other is through Bluetooth. Okay, another way computers can talk to each other is what we call web sockets. Okay, web sockets. So I want you to write this down. These are ways computers talk to each other. The most common way is TCP. If you are accessing a website, if you're watching a video on YouTube or on TikTok, you are using what you call TCP. Your phone is talking to the computer that has the videos that you're watching. If you're sending a message, a WhatsApp message to your wife, your mistress, your phone is talking to that other person's phone using TCP. Okay. Other ways are SSH. You can also use Bluetooth. For example, if you have if you have what is the name, woofer. If you have an woofer at your place and you connect your phone to the woofer using Bluetooth and you want to play music, you use Bluetooth. If you have earpods and Let me just get, I have sample earpods here. Oh my goodness. So if you have earpods, something that looks like this, okay, this is actually a computer on its own. There's a computer inside here. The computer inside here has RAM, CPU, and storage, okay, because you don't have to connect your Bluetooth to your phone every time you open it, so it's stored, the information is stored somewhere here. So when you connect this to your phone or to your laptop to listen to music or to listen to a podcast, your Bluetooth is talking to your laptop using, not your Bluetooth, your earpods. It's talking to your laptop using Bluetooth, okay? So that is one way computers talk to each other. And then the other way is what you call WebSockets, which is like when WebSockets is a little bit complex, so let's just shelve that for another day. Who is lost? Are we together so far? So the key takeaway up to now is computers use these methods to talk to each other. And of course, we know TCP, which is very common. Now we are going to talk about SSH. So how do computers talk to each other using SSH? Now remember, I've said to get started with GitHub, number one, you have to sign up. Is that how N is typed? Sign up to GitHub. Number two, you have to set up SSH, so that your computer can talk to GitHub. Now, this is easy because we sign up for services all the time. But how do we set up SSH? So let's talk about that. So you do have your laptop right here, okay? Your laptop has your source code or your project, and you want to save this project to GitHub. Now, remember, GitHub itself, it's a website, yes, but it's also a server, okay? So that means it's a computer, or rather GitHub itself is on a server, okay? So essentially what we are trying to do is we want to tell our computer to talk to this server, okay? The server is over there, in USA or South Africa or whatever. So what we do, how we do that is, number one, we are going to generate what we call an SSH key pair. So what you do is we'll generate two keys. We call it a public key and a private key. Okay, so you can think of this as a lock and key. This is the key and this is the lock. So the lock stays on your computer. It doesn't go anywhere. And as a matter of fact, in your life, in your entire life, never, ever, 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 ever share your private key. Private key. Never share your private key. This public key is what we will take, and we will give this public key to GitHub. Okay, so that whenever we are pushing our code to GitHub, GitHub will use that public key and find out, is this public key valid? Yes. Who does it belong to? It belongs to this person. Okay, push your code. Are we together so far? Nobody is lost. Okay, is anybody lost? Okay. So step number one, let's sign up for GitHub account. So I'll just go to the browser. I'm hoping my email address is already here. I don't want to go through the nightmare of setting up another email address. So let me confirm if my Gmail address is here, and it's not. Oh, it's here. So I'm going to use this email address for Soma Stories. So I'll go to a new tab and I will say GitHub. Okay, and then I'll go to GitHub. Oh my goodness, do I already have an account? Yes, I do have an account. Let me just sign out. This is very misleading. Sign out from all accounts. All right, so the first thing you see when you open GitHub is this thing, okay? And you can just read through, try to understand what GitHub is all about, and blah 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 blah. It's important for you to just just skim through so that you understand what the website is about. But you can just come here to sign up, and in my case I'm going to use my Gmail account. So if you don't want to use your Gmail account, you can just go through all these steps and create your account. But in my case, I'm going to say continue with Gmail. Yeah, if you don't want a lot of headache, just say continue with Gmail for now. So I'll say continue with Gmail. I'll select my Gmail account. and it brings me here. Okay, so as you can see, it's pretty empty. There's really nothing interesting in here, but I want you to go to settings. So you'll click on this icon right here. So if you don't have two screens, so that you have this video on one screen and trying to practice on another, just take some notes as you watch, and then later you can rewatch the video as you try to practice. So I'll go to settings here. And then inside settings, I have this option called SSH and GPG keys. Okay, SSH and GPG keys. So we will click on this new SSH key, but first let's go to our computer and generate the keys. So I'm going to open my terminal. Okay, so I'm going to open my terminal. So I'll say CMD. I'll hit enter. Actually, it's been a while since I tried to generate SSH keys using terminal, but let's just see how that works. So inside my home directory, I'm going to type a command called SSH keygen, and then I'll do I'll do ed 25519, and then I'll do C. Is that capital C? Yeah, it's capital C. And then I'll do somastorieske@gmail.com. For the love of God, don't you try to cram that command, because you can type that on Google and Google will give you that command. Of importance is to know that we are trying to generate an SSH key. Now, an SSH key comes in twos. There's the public key, there's the private key. The private key, we don't give it to anybody. Even your wife, don't give it to anybody. That is how people get hacked. The public key is what we will take and give it to GitHub. So let's hit enter. What's not happening? Okay, cool. So as you can see, it's telling you generating public and private ed2 key pair. Enter the file in which you want to save the key. In our case, we want to save the key inside our home directory, inside a folder called .ssh. Okay, so if you go inside your home directory right now, local disk C, we go to users, we go to Mbadi. There is no .ssh. Okay, notice there is no .ssh. Okay, so here we'll just hit enter because we don't want to change the directory. We want to use the default directory. We'll hit enter. And then, do you want to create a passphrase? No, I don't want to create a passphrase. Too much work. So I'll just hit enter. Passphrase again, it's empty. Hit enter. Now, so this is what the output looks like. It tells us what am I looking for? So the key fingerprint is this, and then the keys nonsense, but we are only concerned about this. You see this, this is the public key. So this is what you are going to copy and paste it to GitHub. But let's confirm if the pair was created. So I'll go to my browser, to my folder, and then now I can see the .ssh folder is there. So I will open the .ssh folder, and then inside I have the private key, and then I have the public key. So this is what I want to copy. So I will right click. I'm looking for open with. My goodness, where is it? Give access, open with. Okay, I can open with VS Code. So I'll open with VS Code. And then I copy it. So I'll just do Control A to select everything, and then I'll copy it. Then I will go to GitHub, and then here under new SSH key, I will say new SSH key, and then the title I will say Soma Stories Windows VM. Now this can be anything you want to name it. By the way, I can even name it after my wife. Okay. So you can name it anything you want. And then after you've given it a title, you come here and you paste the key, okay? After you've pasted the key, make sure it's authentication key, not sign in. Just leave it at authentication key. Once that is done, I will say add SSH key. And that is done. It's that easy. It's that easy. Generate SSH key, get the public key, paste it on GitHub. Let's continue. Should we continue or should I take a break? Anybody lost? Anybody lost? Yes. When you lose your SSH keys, just go through the same process again. Just generate new keys, but make sure you've deleted this one here. If you don't delete this, then if, for example, somebody stole your keys, they can use it to access your code. Okay? So if you've lost it, just generate new keys and copy it. Adam Sikali, where are you lost? All right, so again, just to go through, just to go over the process again, you sign up for GitHub account. Of course, I think everybody knows how to sign up for an account because we sign up for accounts all the time. So just go to github.com. If you can't remember the domain, just type GitHub on Google. It's a very famous website. So the first link here will be GitHub. And then here, you're just going to say sign in or sign up, sorry. And then just choose sign up with Google. After you've signed up, you go to your terminal and then you type the command SSH keygen blah blah blah. I'll share that command for you guys. This is the command right here. Okay. I also do have a tutorial. I think I have a tutorial explaining all this. I'll share the link with you guys. And then generate the key, paste it on GitHub, and you're all set in that regard. So now what next? So if we go to GitHub under our profile, if I just go to profile, as you can see, you do not have any public repositories yet. There is this word called repository. A repository is basically like a container for your code. Okay, that is what will have your code. So in my case, the website that we built on Monday, I want to push it to GitHub. Okay, so let me just transfer the website to a folder I want, and my machine is hanging. I do not know why. Oh no, let's use a new project. Let's use a whole new project. So let's create a project. Okay, let's create a project. So on the desktop, we are going to create a folder. This folder, we are going to call it collab. Okay, so meaning collaboration. Now inside this project, I'm going to open it with VS Code. So I will open VS Code. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is VS Code? Where is VS Code? Where is VS Code? Don't I have VS Code? My goodness. Oh, it's right here. All right. So I'll open VS Code, and then I'll say file, open folder, and then I'll look for my folder. So desktop, collab. I'll open it. And then once it's opened, we can create some files. So we can start with the readme.md, and then inside readme.md, we are going to say this is a collaboration demo. Okay, and then we'll create a Python file, main.py, and then inside this Python file, we are going to, let's use AI. I don't feel like typing code. No, let's type. Come on. So we'll say foods in kitchen, and then AI will suggest all those, and then we'll say if milk is in food, you have milk in the kitchen. So we can try to run our code and see what happens. So I'll just open terminal, and then Wasonga, I'll get to that. I'll explain that in a second. So let's say Python main.py. All right, so our project is running. Now, what are the steps involved for getting this code from here to here? This is the part where you have to pay attention. All distractions aside, okay? Pay attention. Do you have your notepad? Do you have your pen? Take a sip of coffee. I want you to pay attention. So to take your project from your local machine to GitHub, this is what you need to do. Number one, you need to initialize. You need to tell your project, hey, there's Git. I want you to connect with Git. So I'll say git init, and then I'll hit enter. And then if you see this command right here, everything is working okay. You can proceed. So after this command, we are going to say git add, and then we'll add space, and then we add full stop. Okay, are you together so far? Git init, git add, full stop. Now all this has to be done inside your project folder. If you're in another folder, you're doing a very big mistake. Look for your folder. So I'll do git add, full stop. Okay, and then I'll do git commit, and then this is my very first commit. I can give it any name I want. I can say my first commit, I can say first commit. So I can say my first commit. Okay, my first commit, and then I hit enter. Okay, and as you can see, we are getting all this. If you are getting all this, that means everything is okay. Okay, now after you've done with that, you're going to go to GitHub, and then inside GitHub we want to create a repository. So you'll go to repositories, and then you see this new thing. You're going to click new, and then here we are going to give our repository a name. So we'll give it the same name with what we have locally. So we'll say collab. Okay, and then it tells me the name is available, and then description is first repo for self-taught computer science. You know, what name can I give you guys? Warthogs. I'm sorry. Warthogs. Okay. Okay, let's find a cool fact about warthogs so that I don't insult you guys unknowingly. Cool facts about warthogs. So while you're learning, while you're writing code, please remember to take breaks. Don't just, remember to take breaks. In my case, I do take breaks. I go to Facebook. There's this website called Pinterest. If you guys know what Pinterest is, I do have a few boards. So I'll just go to Pinterest. I try to browse around, see what's it about. So you can think of Pinterest like social media, but less toxic, just cool stuff, cool vibes. Why are you embarrassing me, Pinterest? My goodness. Yeah, so there's all this cool stuff. I do a lot of graphic design, so of course I have graphic design here. I do love architecture, so I have those. I was hoping you guys can see my dream car because I googled that a lot. Who can guess my dream car? Who can guess my dream car? All right, so I do this. I go to Facebook. I browse a bit. Facebook. By the way, if you're on Facebook, we can also connect on Facebook. I do share a few things here and there, tech related. I think I even took a job at by the way, does anybody know how you can use one name on Facebook? I think I did this a very long time ago. So yeah, you can also connect with me on Facebook and all that. So let's look at interesting facts about Audi. Gate info. You're very wrong. I don't like Audis. GLE, no. Wesonga, no. Guys, I'm a lawyer from Busia. Okay? That is a clue already. I'm a lawyer from Busia. I do farm. I do plant sugarcane. So that's another clue. Okay? And our roads in Busia are not tarmacked. Rough road everywhere. Come on, I'm looking for positive facts, not... Oh, they can survive for several months without... Oh, this is nice. So, survivors, warthogs. That is what I mean by warthogs. So, please, let nobody feel insulted. Prado, really? Jiwago? No. Anyway, yeah. Back to class. So we are creating an empty repository on GitHub, and to do that we can come where so we've given it a name, we've given it a description, And then we come down here. So leave all these as they are, don't touch anything here. And then you'll say create repository. And then once you create repositories, there are a bunch of commands here. Now I want you to pay attention. GitHub is trying to give you the guide on how to push your code here, but we've run all this. Okay, we've run this, we've run this, we've run that. So let's copy this and then paste it on our terminal in our project. That is done. Let's go back to GitHub. Now this is where this is like the moment of truth if your SSH worked. Okay, so let's see if I did my own things. So I'll copy that command, I'll paste it there, I'll hit enter, and then there's no output, so that might mean something good. And then we come here, we copy this command, last command, and then I need to close this, and then we paste it here. Okay, oh my goodness, I cannot paste. So let me copy the command again, copy, come here, and then paste it. I think the SSH did not work. So we need to troubleshoot and find out why the SSH did not work. Why are you not entering? I think it's frozen. Anyway, we can go to GitHub and refresh the page and see if our changes it's still not here. Our code is still not here. So let's go back and see why we are stuck. Okay, I'll need this AI in a second. So let me just hit enter, nothing. Oh my goodness. I can try with CMD, so I'll open CMD and then I'll paste the same command. CMD is stuck. Okay, our SSH did not work. So okay, this is new. Okay, this is new. So let's just try and sign in with the browser. I doubt that will work. And then we can say authorize. Authentication succeeded. So let's go back to our code. And so I think Git, I think they updated their code. So just follow what I've done. Just say authorize with the browser and then proceed with the authorization. So now that is done, if you go to GitHub and refresh here, yeah, as you can see, our code now is on GitHub. And to confirm that the code is on GitHub, I can copy this link and I want you guys to open this link on your browser. Everybody open that link. You can open that link and confirm if you can see the same thing I'm seeing here. I can also give you guys a minute to register for GitHub so that you see exactly what I'm seeing here. So do register for GitHub. Go to github.com, sign up with your Gmail, and then we'll meet in 5 seconds. 5 minutes, not seconds, 5 minutes. I'm going to refill my coffee. Maybe you should do the same. Yeah, this is what I'm having, by the way. Oh, I was showing you the wrong side. Um, it's lemon tea, it's flavored tea or something. That's what I'm having. Oh, Evans, I think Git, you authenticated with the browser sign in like we've just done. All right. Now we do have our first project. I hope you guys have. Can you guys hear me? I think the network is a little bit. Confirm if you can hear me. Can anybody hear me? All right. So I hope you have accessed the repo I've shared, and so now this is our main project. Okay, the project that we spoke about that we're going to build at the end of the 4 months. This is it. So we're going to make some changes to our code. So assuming we are building a website, okay, and we said our website has a front end and it has a back end. So we want to create two folders right here, okay. So we want to create a folder called front end, and we want to create a folder called backend. Okay, now every time you make some changes to your code, okay, I can come inside the front end and write a JavaScript file, say for example home.js, okay, and then inside home.js I'm just going to do console.log, and then I say welcome to the home page. Just type some nonsense stuff there. So we have backend, we have frontend. Our frontend has some code, and we also want to move this main.py into our backend folder like so. So I'll just drag and drop. Now with every changes we make, we have to create a new version of our code. So how do we create a new version? To create a new version, we don't do git init again. We only do git add, and then full stop, and then we say git commit, and then we give our commit a name. Now commit is like a version, creating a version. So what should we call this version? We can give it first a label, say version 2, and then in version 2 we say we add front end and back end folders. Okay, just like so, and we hit enter. And of course git will tell you, it will tell you 2 files have changed and we've made 6 insertions. So after you've created the version still exists locally. It's not up there on GitHub. So if you go to GitHub and refresh, our changes have not been reflected here. So we can go back to our VS Code and say git push, and then give it a minute. All right, and then it tells you that blah blah 2 summer stories collab.git. So we go back to GitHub and refresh, and we can see now our changes are there. Okay, so our changes Desmond, you can still see it on your phone. I gave a link, but let me just share it again. Just open this link on your phone. It will open with the browser, and then that will show you the code. All right, so we have the changes now on GitHub. However, we can't all, it's like when you're living in the same room with your entire family. You can't all sleep in one room. Of course, your daughter and son will sleep, in another room. You and your wife in another room. Your cousin or your nephew in another room, and so on and so forth. So in GitHub, we use what you call branches. So if you look at the output here, you can see this thing called main. This is what we call a branch. And branches on GitHub work like this. So you have the main branch. So this is where everything else is. This is where all the entire files are, okay? And then we can just do this to indicate time, okay? This just indicates time. So today we've made changes, and this is everything we have in our code. We have the backend folder, the frontend folder, and the README, okay? But you want to make some changes, and somebody else wants to make some changes. You both cannot work on the same branch, okay? You have to create a branch. So you will create a branch here, which you can indicate by so, okay? And we call this branch a frontend, okay? Which means it will contain frontend work. And somebody else somewhere will create another branch here, and we can also call this branch backend, okay? So you continue working on your changes like so. And then at this point, you are done making your changes. Maybe you've added a home page, you've added some photos on the website. So after you've done, you push, okay? You push your changes and merge them to the main branch, okay? So what happens here, this is push and merge. And we look at this in a second in practice. So this other person also has been making some changes, and they are now here. They are not done with their changes yet, but they are done when they are at this point, okay? But before they push and merge their changes to the main branch, this is the main branch, remember? Before they are done and push their changes to the main branch, they have to do what you call pull, okay? They have to pull the changes right here, okay? So they have to say, I want to pull my the changes that this person has made into my own changes, so that I can work with their changes up to this point when I'm done with my changes, and then I can push and merge. So this is also push and merge. Now trust me, I don't expect this to make any sense right now, but by Saturday I expect you to have watched 3 video tutorials explaining the same thing I'm doing, and read 3 articles explaining the same thing I'm doing. So that means by Sunday, everybody knows how to, initialize their project with Git, and they know how to save their project to GitHub, okay? So let's look at this branching thing I've talked about here, this branching thing. So locally, please pay attention, put all distractions aside. This is going to be heavy. So let's close this window. It's distracting. Okay, so locally, let me clear my screen. Locally, if I do git branch, it shows me that I'm working on the main branch, okay? And you don't want to work on the main branch. This is like a master copy of our work. I want to create my own branch. How do I do that? What I do is I'll type git. Oh my goodness, I've forgotten the command. Git checkout, and then I'll do -b, and then I'll give it a name. So I'll say I'm working on the front end, and it can be anything, by the way. You can give it any name you want. So I'm just saying front end Moses, and I will hit enter. Okay, and it's telling me you have switched into branch front end Moses. Okay, so let me just clear. Now if I do git branch, it shows me that I have 2 branches, the main branch and the front-end branch, and the front-end branch is the active one. So let me try and make some changes on the front-end branch. So since my changes are in the front-end, I'm going to go into the front-end folder and create a file called index.html. Now inside index.html, I'm just going to display something. So I'll say HTML, I'll hit tab. I need to close that. And then inside I will just say oh, it has added this for me, script blah blah. What am I doing? Head. I need to close that head. You now see the problem with working with AI tools. Okay, head, I'll close it, and then inside here I'll say H1, and then I'll say welcome to Collab. Okay, so once that is done, those changes now exist in the front-end branch. So what I can do is I need to create a version of our code. So I will do git add, that has to be in small letters. So I'll do git add. My goodness, have I not disabled git add period, and then I'll do git commit. Now do you see the pattern here? After you've done git init, the remaining commands will play between git add to git push, git add, git commit, git push, if you know, like that. We'll explore git pull later. So I'll do git commit, and then I'll pass in the message, and then I say add index, or I can just say add HTML files, and then I'll hit enter, and then that's it. So here's the most interesting bit. Pay attention. Here's the most interesting bit. Now we are in the front-end branch, but the changes that we have on our branch, those changes are not in the main branch. Okay, so this is a pictorial depiction of that. We were in the main branch, we had the front-end folder, we had the back-end folder, and then this is the main branch. Okay, this is time. So here at the main branch here, we checked out into front-end branch. Okay, and this is our front-end branch. So our front-end branch has this file called index.html. Okay, this file does not exist in our main branch. This is our main branch, and this is our front-end branch. Okay, so this index.html does not exist in our main branch. It only exists in this branch right here. Let's confirm if that is true. So I'll go back to my terminal, and then I will now shift my working branch to the main branch. So right now, if I do git branch, it shows me that my active branch is front-end Moses, but I want this to be my active branch. So how do I do it? I'll say git checkout, and then I'll say main. Okay, and then it tells me you've switched into main. Okay, so I will close this, I will close that, I will close this, I will close that, I'll even close that. So now pay attention. In the front-end folder, the index.html file has disappeared. It's not there. Okay, it has disappeared because our main branch does not have that index.html. But what if I again change back to front-end Moses? So I'll come here and say front-end Moses. Okay, and if I do that, I can see index.html has appeared. Okay, this is actually a creative way to cheat and not be caught. Okay, you can just save those pictures in another branch and then do git, you know. Yeah, I don't cheat, by the way. Luya men don't cheat. So so that is how branches work. A branch is like a version of your code that has changes that are not in the other branch. But how do we merge this index.html into our main branch? So what we do is we can, let's clear our screen. So let's confirm the active branch. So git branch, and it tells us we are in the front-end Moses branch. So this front-end Moses branch exists locally. It's not on GitHub. So if you go to your GitHub, to that repository, and refresh and look at the branches, this is the icon that shows you your branches. As you can see, there is no front-end Moses. Okay, so let's go back to our local changes. And since we ran git add, git commit, all we have to do to take our changes and push it to GitHub is to type git push. Okay, and what did I do? Oh yes, so when you want to do git push, it of course it confirms that you want to push into this branch. So I'm just going to copy this and then paste it there, and then hit enter, and then it tells me that your changes have been pushed to origin front-end Moses. Now let's go back to GitHub and confirm if the changes have been pushed. So we'll go to GitHub, we refresh our page, and then when you click this branch icon thing, as you can see now, the front-end branch appears, and even GitHub shows you this thing, compare and pull request. So what is this compare and pull request? Now what we want to do here is this stage. Okay, now we have our changes on the front-end branch, but the changes are not in the main branch. So we want to do this. We want to merge our changes into the main branch. So if you come here again, now the active branch is main. If you go to front-end, as you can see, there is no index.html. But if I change this to front-end, as you can see, index.html is there. So how can we make the two branches, in sync? So I'll go back to the repository homepage, and then I'll click on this green, not blue. I'll click on this, and then it shows me this window. So we have open pull request, front-end Moses. We want to merge. As you can see here, it's telling you able to merge. We want to take the changes on our front-end Moses and merge it into our main. Okay, so I'll just scroll to the bottom and say create pull request. Takes a second. So we can say merge pull request, confirm merge, and then that is done. That has worked well. So we'll go back to the project homepage, and then now if you go to main and you go to front end, as you can see, index.html now appears. If you change this to front end branch, as you can see, that has disappeared. So by now, I expect you to have written these things down. Okay, I expect you to have taken these notes. Number one is oh my goodness, how do I enlarge this? Git add, git commit, message, git push, git checkout. The branch name is, branch name. We can say here new branch name. Git add, git commit. Let me just resize this. Want to resize. Git add, git commit, message, git push, git checkout, branch, new branch. What else am I forgetting? And the branch. Okay, and branch, of course, it's up there. So these are the most important things you should note up to this point. Okay, we will learn more things as we continue, but these are the most important things you know. Now I'm not going to talk. I'm going to have my coffee, and then I'm going to create a new branch and go through the entire steps all over again. Okay, just follow through. Close that. So allow. So here I'm going to say Medina Care, a hospital management information system. So I'll go to VS Code, file, open folder. I said I'm not going to talk, so let me not talk. Management system, main.py, print, we're up. So let's confirm. Python main.py, we're up. We close that. So I'll do git init, I'll do git commit, first commit. I need to do git add first. Git add period, then git commit. Perfect. I go to GitHub, to my project, go to repositories. I say new, then Medina Care Hospital Management Information System. Let's give it a proper title. Everything else remains the same. Add, copy this command, come here, run it, go back, copy this command, come here, run it, go back again, copy this command, come here, run it. All done. Come here, refresh. We have our changes, main and readme. Go back here, create another branch, git checkout b front end. Then come here, create front end. Inside, let's put index or home.html or dashboard.html. Inside it put some HTML. What am I typing? HTML. I want this one right here. Oh my goodness. Alright, so we put a heading here, dashboard. So git branch to confirm which branch is active, front end, git add, git commit, front end changes, git add, git commit, git push. Do you want to push to this branch? Yes, I want to push to this branch. Copy, paste, run. Alright, go to the browser, refresh. Front end has changes. Compare and merge. We want to merge into main. Create pull request. All right. Yeah, everything looks good. And if you've been following, you are now able to collaborate on a project. Okay, we haven't gotten to the collaboration part, but we are halfway there or almost done. So now here's the exercise for today's session. I want you to configure your GitHub. Like I've said, register for the account, add your SSH keys, and then after you've added your SSH keys, I want you to come to this project collab right here. Okay, I want you to click on this icon. Okay, and then locally I want you to go to the terminal. It can be on your desktop or whatever. Just open CMD. Okay, and make sure you are in the right folder. So if you want to put it inside your home directory, it's okay. In my case, I want to put it inside my desktop directory. So I'll do cd desktop. And then right here, I will type this command, git clone, and then I will type the address. Oh, no, that's not the wrong, that is the wrong address. Git clone. I need some space there. So I'll say git clone, and then I get this copy. And then locally, I'll say that. I will hit enter. Oh yeah, it's because we have it already. So let me just create another directory. So mkdir collab2 cd collab2. Now inside here, I will do git clone, and I will paste that. I will hit enter. And then it has what we call cloned my repository. So now on your computer, you will have all the changes I have made. You will have all this on your computer, okay, without downloading, the other way. I think we looked at Kitambo. So you will have all these changes on your laptop. So to confirm that, we can go to the project folder, desktop, collab2, and then we can see our collab is right here. That is your homework for today, okay? Copy the address, clone it, and then if you get into any trouble
do share in the help channel. Either me or somebody else who has done this before will try to help you out. Or if I also come across the issue, I will help you out. Like I said, I don't expect you to understand anything in detail from this course, from this session, sorry. What I expect you to do is have a general overall knowledge, overall knowledge of how it works. So you need to know that first you have to do git init to initialize your project. You have to do git add, you have to do git commit, you have to do git push. For you to be able to push, you need to, for you to be able to do git push, you need to create a GitHub account, and you need to create a GitHub, a repository in your account. Okay, so just a general knowledge. I also want you to watch 3 other tutorials on the same thing. Okay, collaboration with Git and GitHub. Do find a tutorial. I will share a nice one if I come across one. But I want you to watch 3 other video tutorials and read 3 other articles that explain the same thing. There's an article I wrote myself. I'll share it in the Discord server, and then we can meet. When is our next class? On Saturday, and see what we have. Yeah, that's it for this session. I'll see you in the next one. Happy coding, and do stay safe. Get out of here. What are you waiting for? Get out of here. Go drink some water. Go cook.